This week, Amazon announced it will return to a 5-day in-office work week. The new change in policy marks a return to the pre-pandemic way of working.
Amazon's mandate to return to office 5 days in a week. Is it simply a quiet layoff? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is the Test Lead, and I make content to help you on your software testing journey. Today's topic, Amazon's biggest announcement from last week, that starting January 2025, they're mandating or requiring that employees return to office 5 days a week. This decision, which many are calling a quiet layoff, could be a strategic move to thin out the workforce without outright layoffs. While this mandate may lead to loss of some talent, Amazon's brand still attracts top quality candidates. Now, let's dive a little deeper and talk about how we got here. Off topic, but I actually interviewed and made it to the last round of Amazon back in the day. But that's a conversation and video topic for a different video. If you want to hear about it, leave a comment, because that interview probably pivoted and changed my whole career. Now let's get focused. Back 10 years ago, the majority of employees were 5 days in the office. Then during 2020, when everything got shut down, everything became fully remote. And people showed they can be productive working remotely. Tech giants like Amazon, Google, and Facebook were pioneers in this remote work shift. But the story started to change as the pandemic receded. Everybody loved the remote aspect because it gave them better work-life balance. But years after the economy shut down, Amazon slowly started bringing their employees back in person, starting with 2 or 3 days every week. But now, with their most recent 5 days mandate, things are changing. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy announced a full 5-day in office requirement. He justified the move, claiming that being physically present leads to better collaboration, mentoring, and stronger team dynamics. However, many see it as an effort to fill up Amazon's office spaces, which are locked into long-term leases. So from one point, I get it. People do collaborate better in an office, actually seeing each other. But how often are those collaborations actually required? How about a hybrid method, how they had? Maybe have all your important team meetings on those 2 or 3 days, giving your employees that flexibility still on the other days. Speaking of the employees, let's talk about their standpoint and them possibly calling it a quiet layoff. The backlash has been swift. Many employees are calling this a sneaky way to reduce the company's headcount. As said by one employee on Reddit, this is a way for a company to fire you without having to pay you a severance. Normally, when a company lays you off without any real reason, they have to pay you a compensation package or a severance. But if they kind of force you to quit, they don't owe you any money. And so they're saying that's Amazon's way of making that happen. Instead of just having mass layoffs and having to pay out a lot of people for compensation, they're basically just making people quit on their own. Nick Bloom estimates that up to 30% of Amazon staff might quit as a result of this mandate, signaling how serious this fallout could be. Now, let's stop and think. Is this fully in person, 5 days a week concept best for innovation? The Amazon CEO argues that working from the office leads to greater collaboration and innovation. However, a Stanford University study contradicts this, finding that employees who work 2 days a week from home are just as productive as those in the office full-time. Hybrid or remote models reduce distractions and save commute time. Amazon's newest policy actually runs against the trend of other tech companies. Companies like Apple, Google, and Meta have adopted more flexible hybrid models, requiring employees to come in only 3 days a week. Spotify has embraced a work from anywhere policy, asking teams to meet in person just once a year. Quick break. If you're enjoying the video so far, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you need help on your software testing journey, check out my website, thetestinglead.com. Now, back to the video. So, what does this mean for Amazon's future? Even though some employees will be willing to relocate to go in person, others who have been fully remote may not make that transition. While Amazon may lose some high-performing employees who prefer remote work, their strong brand reputation ensures they will continue to attract top talent. Also, to encourage employees to come in person, there's millions of perks. They have free breakfast, free lunch, free dinner, different activities, games, so they make you want to stay there and live there basically. So by offering these as a plus, that's more of an incentive to get you in the office and to keep you there. Think about it. If you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner at work, you're there at maybe 8, 9 o'clock and not going home until 8, 9 o'clock. That's a lot of hours. And if you're doing that 5 days a week, that's a lot of your life. Looking ahead, for some people in the tech world, this seems like a step backwards. We proved how productive you can be in a remote or hybrid role. By going back to 5 days in person, we're almost taking a step back. Long commutes, disrupted personal lives, and reduced flexibility may lower job satisfaction. I know by the tone of this video, you probably think I'm fully against this 5-day in-person work week. But I'm actually not. If you're young in your career, just starting out the first few years, I actually think you should be working in person because that's when you actually learn the best. When I first started out, I was fully in person. And for me personally, that's when I had the most learning curve and learning gap filled. I was able to utilize different resources and people at my disposal. I became friends with a lot of people. You can find opportunities for networking and mentorship. But as you continue to grow in your career, it's important to find a nice balance that's good for you. Everybody's different. The only thing that I'm really worried about is Amazon's decision, if successful, may inspire other big tech companies to follow suit because they also have millions, probably billions of dollars in office real estate not being utilized. So they're going to say, if Amazon was able to pull this off, maybe us at Meta or at Google can do the same and get use out of all this space. So whether this is successful or unsuccessful for Amazon, it'll be closely watched. If you got any value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them below. And most importantly, don't forget this, learn something new today.